The index laws. Now, as we've already seen in topic 1, indices are used to multiply numbers by themselves a given number of times. For example, 5 to the power of 4 means we have 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, or multiplying 5 4 times. We can also use indices in algebra. For example, a to the power of 4 would be a times a times a times a. Now, there are 3 laws we can use when simplifying indices as follows. Multiplication. X to the power of 3 multiplied by x to the power of 5. Well, x to the power of 3 first of all means x times x times x. And we're multiplying that by x to the power of 5, which would be x times x times x times x times x. If we forget about the brackets, we've got an x times 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 an x. So we really have x to the power of 8. So what we've really done, if you look at the link here, x to the power of 3, x to the power of 5, x to the power of 8, what we've done is we've added the powers, and that's the first rule for indices. When you've got x to the power of something multiplied by x to the power of something else, it's x to the power of the two powers combined, added. So in general, if you're multiplying, you add your powers. Division. X to the power of 6 divided by x to the power of 2. I'm going to do the same thing again. X to the power of 6 is x times x times x times x times x times x. To represent divide, we use a division line like a fraction, but we'll look properly at fractions in topic 7. So we've got x to the power of 6 divided by x squared, which is x times x. Now, because you can do this in any order, we could really say we've got an x divided by an x here. Well, when you divide something by itself, it becomes 1. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 10 divided by 10 is 1. 136 divided by 136 is 1. So what happens is these two x's cancel each other out, because times it by 1 stays the same. You could do the same for another pair of x's. Got an x divided by x, so again that just makes 1. So what we have left is x times x times x times x, which is x to the power of 4. And again, if you look at the link, x to the power of 6 divided by x to the power of 2 has given us x to the power of 4. So what we've done is we've subtracted the powers, and that's the second rule. X to the power of n divided by x to the power of m is x to the power of n take m. So when we divide, we subtract powers. So multiplying, we add; division, we subtract. And finally, brackets. X squared all to the power of 3. So that really means we've got an x times an x, that's my x squared, to the power of 3. So that means we've got an x times an x times another x times an x times another x times an x. So we've got x times x times x times x times x times x. So we actually have x to the power of 6. If we look at the links between the powers again, 2 and 3, if we multiply them together, we get 6. And that's the final rule. If we raise a power to another power, so x to the power of n to the power of m, we get x to the power of n times m. So if you raise a power to another power, we multiply. So for example, simplify the following expressions. A times 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 a. Well, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 a's, so this is a to the power of 8. Next one, 2 times a times 3 times b times b times b. We've got a mixture of numbers and letters now. I'm going to treat them separately. Just look at the numbers first. We've got 2 times 3, well that's 6. And we've got a times an a, so that gives us a squared. And we've got a b times a b times a b, which is b cubed. The last step, we don't want those times signs in there, so this is 6a squared b cubed. Another example, a to the power of 4 times a to the power of 3. So this is using our index laws now. When we multiply, we add the powers. So this is a to the power of 4 plus 3, which is 7. Next one, b to the power of 7 divided by b to the power of 2. The rule is, or the law is, when we divide, we subtract powers. So it's b to the power of 7 take 2. That's b to the power of 5. Finally, the last one we're going to have to do separately. I'm going to do the top line first. C to the power of 5 times c to the power of 8. Now when we times, we add powers, so this is c to the power of 13. Remember, this line means divide, and we're dividing that by c to the power of 4. This really means c to the power of 13 divided by c to the power of 4, and when we divide, we subtract powers. So 13 take 4 will give us c to the power of 9.